Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, a little bit of a different type of video. Wouldn't call this exactly a rant video, but I'm certainly going to be expressing a little bit of displeasure in this one and talking about the things that I don't love about this game, and specifically one thing in general that I really don't love about this game right now, and that, quite simply, is the auction house tax. I think this game is actually in a pretty good place, believe it or not. But even with no auction house, I don't totally hate the player market. I think the prices are decently expensive, especially for like Ruby cards. But the thing we have to remember, rubies right now are like diamonds at the beginning of last year. Like the rubies in the game right now, like Lamar Odom, Andre Iguodala, are equivalent to cards like Zach LaVine from last year, and even like a Diamond Steph Curry. Cards like that we got at the beginning of the year. There's a Rudy Gobert at the beginning of the year. There's a diamond. Those types of cards, and then the amethysts are like your pink diamonds that we could get early in the year. Your trophy case player that you could get within the first few days. The pink diamond Steph Curry that was available. Scottie Pippen, cards like that. So I don't think the pricing is really that bad. I think the biggest problem by far with this game, to be completely honest, because honestly, I think the gameplay is pretty good too. I think this is so far anyway. I know it's very early in the game, but I have to say, I think this is probably my second favorite gameplay since like 2K19. Honestly, I started playing 2K at the end of 2K19. I think the gameplay in this game is my second favorite after 2K21 Current right now. 21 Current had the speed glitch, but that game was a blast, and I think defense was so balanced on that game. Really liked it. But point being, I actually do think the gameplay on this game is really good and very fun, in all honesty, as well, and I think it'll continue to be fun. I don't love the shooting entirely because I think some pretty bad shots, especially some bad whites occasionally, will go in, but overall, I think the game is actually in a pretty good place. It's the player market prices that you have to sell, that you can sell cards back for, that I really am not a fan of at all. And I think that's really, really unfortunate, to be completely honest, because a lot of these cards, they're pretty expensive. And it's like, for example, let's take it with these Ruby cards that you have to get to lock in, for example, a Jason Tatum. The Ruby cards are going to cost you 70,000 MT or 50,000 VC to get. If you have to buy one of these amethysts, I mean, all of a sudden you're looking at a $25 card right here, which is a pretty expensive card. I mean, a $20 card is no joke by any means. So the question then becomes, like, if you're going to spend this type of money to get these cards, that is okay if you can sell them back for close to the amount that you paid for them, because then you can recoup most of your MT. And even if prices are going to change every 3 weeks, which is understandable, the market in the auction house would go down over time. I do think that it should be a little bit different. I don't love the way that they're doing this right now, because you say I wanted to buy at Andrew Bogut. I pay 140,000 MT for Andrew Bogut. And then I'll say I want to sell my Andrew Bogut. I'm not going to use Andrew Bogut for this example, and I'm going to use, I guess I don't have another amethyst that I could sell right now. But say I wanted to sell Andrew Bogut. What I'm going to get is 56,000 MT. 56,000 MT is 60% less than 140,000 MT. You are losing 60% of your value right now when you sell a card back, and that goes for all tiers. It's not just amethysts. It's 60% right at, basically, for how much you lose for selling any card back to the player market, or whatever you want to call it, selling it back to 2K. That auction house tax is absolutely gigantic, and it is going to make this game so hard to play no money spent, because you can really only at that point, if you want to not spend a ridiculous amount of money, you have to buy cards that you're going to hold on to for a while. You have to be very confident in your card purchase, because if you buy a card, you really can't sell it back because you're losing so much value by selling it back. And I think it's way too much value. I think the auction house tax last year was perfect, 10%. Whatever, we'll live with it. It's cool. I think 10% is fine. Even a 15 or 20%, if they wanted to increase it for some reason, okay. 60% is absolutely beyond obscene, and it's a complete money grab of a move, to be completely honest. And the sad part is everything else about this game right now is really, really in a good state. But I do think as we start to see these improved content drops over the next few weeks, as we start to get better amethysts and diamonds eventually, and cards that people want to pay for, it's going to be really hard to compete and get top cards at all if if the way that you're getting these top cards is so expensive, I guess, because you can't sell them back. You just can't sell them back. And then you have to get the MT for the top card, but then you sell it back and you get half the MT back. So you have to grind a ton to get enough MT to buy another top card when you sell this one back. And yes, it's understandable. I don't really think you should be able to have the best team in the game without spending any money, honestly, because it is a business, and I understand that side of it. And I think you should be able to get close to the best team in the game without spending money, though. I think you should be able to get a comparable team and a competitive team and still a couple of top cards without spending money. And I don't think you should have to play the game as a 40-hour full-time job to get enough MT as a no money spent or a low money spent player to get a bunch of top cards on your team, which is what you have to do right now. You would literally have to play this game like a full-time job, at least 40 hours plus a week, I think, right now, to compete as a no money spent player. Because damn, it is kind of tough right now to compete as a no money spent player. There are a lot of good free reward cards, to be fair, but it's a big grind, and to actually get MT and then get top cards is just so expensive, especially when you sell them back, and it's going to give you so much less value in return, which I think is just, I don't know, I just think it's really awful, to be completely honest. And it's kind of ruining the whole experience for me in my mind, because I know, and I shouldn't have spent as much money as I probably did to start this game off. I already spent a couple $100 on 2K this year, but I locked in this TyDeBo set, I locked in this Weber set, so I can't sell them back. And I pulled Clay, so I can sell Clay back for 75,600 MT because I did grade him. And that is one way that you can improve the amount that a card sells back for that I haven't really talked about, is card grading will improve it a decent amount. For example, this Clay card getting a 9.25 grade improved the amount that he sold for by almost 20,000 MT. He's now selling for over 50%, just slightly over 50% of the value, which is still way too little, but it is a significant improvement. So grading cards will improve the amount that a card sells for, which is nice. And I think grading cards still gives you an MT boost in game as well, but I'm not actually 100% sure if that's true or not, but I think it still does, but I honestly don't know. But regardless, I do think that this is better a little bit, but overall it's just, I think it's really bad right now, and I think it really is ruining the rest of the game because of the fact that you lose so much MT and it makes it so hard to compete. And I know I keep reiterating that, but I do think it's so important to note because it's going to be so hard to get that, because let's see, the summer standouts promo that's coming out on, I think Tuesday. Let's say that the promo has 2 amethysts. Those amethysts are going to be, let's say, 140,000 MT a piece. So if I wanted to pick up the 2 new amethysts that are going to be, I'm sure, elite cards, I'm going to spend 280,000 MT, and they're going to replace 2 cards on my team that are probably going to be rubies or amethysts, and will sell for a combined somewhere between 40,000 to 100,000 MT, depending on where the card tier is, 140,000 to 110,000 MT ish. Somewhere in that area is how much MT I'll probably be getting back. So I'm going to lose anywhere from 250 to 150 to 250,000 MT picking up those new cards and selling back the old ones. I'm going to lose so much MT off of that. Now there's another drop Friday, and if I want to pick up those cards, I'm losing another 150 to 200,000 MT. And that's just if there's like 2 good amethysts. If there's 3 or 4 elite cards that people want to pick up for their teams, it's going to be so expensive to try to keep up on a weekly basis. You're going to be spending 50 or $100 a week, and it just, you can't be doing that, honestly. It's just, that's not a sustainable business model for most people. Some people can afford to pay for that, and if you can afford to pay for it, go for it. It's your money. Do whatever you want. I personally don't recommend spending that much money on the game, and I know I've spent a lot to start off the year, but I'm not going to continue to spend a lot on the game, and I did not spend a lot last year at all. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit long-winded at this point, but it's really, really ruining the experience for me a little bit. And I do think that there should be an auction house tax. I think it's fine to want to regulate the amount of MT in the economy a little bit, but I think 10% is very fair. And I think, honestly, even if you're going to go above 10%, 15%, 20% max is where you got to stop. 60% is way too much, and it's really kind of ruining the experience, I think, for a lot of people in terms of trying to build themselves a competent teams. The price isn't that bad. And honestly, you do earn a lot more MT from playing the game this year, which is a W. I've earned a lot of MTs, a couple 100,000 MT already, just from playing the game probably. But the auction house tax is too much, and it's going to hurt the game. It just is, to be completely honest. But with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.